So guess who's back? And the music's a little bit too loud now, so we're just gonna lower it just a wee bit. Yeah, we're playing some Fontaine music for this stream. Why? Because it's chill and it's nice and I like it a lot. I don't really got much to say, like, intro-wise. Sorry, I'm just bumping the mic a little. I don't have a lot to say much intro-wise, honestly. The the stream is going to be exactly what it looks like. It's just gonna be a nice, chill little drawing stream. We're just gonna animate and like actually animate this time. Chorus is here, says hello, hi. I did basically I did already like redrew all of the frames that I already did, but in a much more like simple blobby style, just for the sake of animation, because that's what you're supposed to do. And I did not do that originally. And once I actually did that and actually started to, like, I don't know, make the characters move, I was like, oh wow, it's almost as if that's what you're supposed to do, you know? all right. But let's get to working. I do want, even though it is spring, nearing on summer, my wonderful, like, nasal to throat cavities, that's not how you say it. I don't know, the tubes in your face that contain the mucus just decided to not work 2 days ago, and they're still killing me. So if there's any moment where, like, I sound sick, quote unquote, I'm not. Well, not like sick in that way. My sinuses just absolutely hate me. Even though it's like, yeah, it's not winter anymore, and so like the main season where they say, nah, we're not gonna work, is over, and yet they still just decided to do that one day. But anyway, that's a thing for another time. Cora says, sounds lovely. It is, it's great. I love it so much. Okay, so, whoops, sorry, I accidentally moved a lot of stuff. So yeah, I think at first I'm just gonna show what I have animated so far. So let's just get to the scary infinite void. Woo. Okay, so this is what I mean when I'm just gonna shut this off. This is what I mean when I say, like, let me get Robin out of here. This is what I mean when I say, like, a much more, like, simplified style. Something a lot more, something that, like, I can mess around with way easier than if I did like a full-on sketch. And then I will draw all of the details over top of that. I'm basically going to be like reanimating it, but it's going to be a lot easier because the base shapes are already there. Art stuff. Purple Scarf Cake says, hi, today's my last day of high school. I'm graduating next week. Yo, that's crazy. Yeah, congrats, Purple Scarf, literally. That is so wild. And nah, dude, it's, man. Unfortunately, if you go back enough in my videos, I am part of the generation that never got a proper high school graduation. Yeah, I know, I'm one of those people. And, like, as much as people in high school, or at least in my time in high school, were like, oh, I don't want a graduation because they've probably been there. They've probably been to one for, like, their cousins or their siblings or something, and they're like, I don't like to sit there for, like, 3 hours, and I did have, like, a proper graduation in college, and yeah, that's not exactly the funnest thing, but, like, it may not be that fun in the moment, or more like, the majority of it may not be that fun, but when you actually hold the diploma, the degree, the whatever, and are in front of the crowd and you're hyper-focusing on your friends and family, that couple of seconds is like, I'm not gonna say life-changing, nah, but there is a reason why a lot of people of my graduation year kind of feel like a part of us has been, like such a huge milestone was removed, you know? Even though I actually got to have a proper graduation in college, there's still that little part of me that's like, I may not have had fun the entire way through high school graduation, but I would give anything, okay, maybe not anything, but I would give to have those couple of seconds. I would. And a lot of my friends in high school, kind of shared the same sentiment that at first they're like, I don't want a graduation because I've been there for like my older brother or whatever. And then like a couple months into the plague and they're like, dang, I kind of wish we had that. What I'm trying to say is that even if you're kind of bored throughout the entire graduation speech, I promise you that like those couple of seconds when you're actually on stage holding up the diploma, it is going to be something that it's not life-changing. It's not going to be imprinted in your memory forever, but it's a milestone for a reason. And there exists a world out there where you never had that, and like even though it's been like 5 years after the fact, you kind of wish you had it. Okay, I went too much on a rant. God, it's the end of the year, dude. That's crazy. That is insane. Like, I'm still trying to fathom the fact that, like, unless I get a master's, which I'm still kind of unsure about, it's still kind of hard for me to grapple with the fact that, like, I'm done with school. Alright, we're here animating. Okay, this is the perfect chance to, let's shut it off for a moment, because I'm just gonna show what I've been doing. The gaps where Robin is in here is going to be empty. This is just gonna be Guy. But we're gonna play this so I can show it to y'all. Okay.
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different. We're one and the same. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame. You're not saving any lives by killing an innocent boy. Then what in Olympus's name did you do in Troy?
And of course that's going to have Robin, and the next one would just be like a little bit of this.
We're one and the same.
There's not really much movement. It's just going to be like one of those still frames. That's with the camera moving. But that's what I got so far. Yeah. I think the only part with Guy that I want to do now. Let me shut this off for a little bit. Well, let me look it over again, actually. Oh yeah, for this stream, you're going to be hearing a lot of. Because once you start animating, like for reals animating, not just doing thumbnails, like you're going to be like scrubbing through the audio all of the time. So there's probably going to be moments where I like pause the music, put it back on, pause it, put it back on, a lot of, just for the sake of me trying to like, you know, time everything. So I'm just like, I think the part where he pulls out the dagger, I want to.
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different. We're one and the same. We're not the same. Don't get to have all the power and none of the
right here, okay. Cause I had an idea where I'm just gonna remove this frame here. Actually, yeah, no, I'm just gonna remove this frame. I'm gonna turn on the onion skin. Cause I had an idea. Why am I copying? There's nothing to copy. I had an idea where I would I kind of want, like, the knife to kind of go like this. Kind of like, woo, like that. Along with the blame kind of feel. So I guess I'm going to try that. Cora says, music to my ears. Yeah. You get used to it after a while, trust me. It starts to not really bug you anymore after a bit. Yeah, so the thing is that because the frame goes from, like, a pretty big frame to, like, a much smaller one, I think I'll have to, like, size them down a bit, like, size it down over time, but, actually, let me remove this, and let me make a completely new frame, just by itself. Bear with me, because I'm thinking. I think with this, I kind of want the arm, not the arm, the hand to, no. Okay, I kind of want the hand to kind of drag behind a little bit. Yeah, drag behind, and then it going like this, maybe a little bit more down, so it could have like a, yeah, there we go. Cause what I want after that, I think I'm just gonna make a new layer on top of this. I'm gonna delete this layer, but I'll just put one here for the sake of mapping out everything. And I cannot see anything down here. Okay, maybe I'll just move the frame up, actually. Meh? What the hell are you doing here? You're not supposed to be. Get out of here. Get out of here. Leave. Okay. I'm just like thinking. I'm just like trying to plan it out. Or actually, maybe instead, let me remove this and let me just like keep it. It's like by itself in isolation, I guess. Okay, I think then I can put the music back on. Before I inevitably turn it off to hear the thing again. We're gonna have a lot of that this stream. Okay. Actually, maybe I will keep it here. Yeah, no, forget what I said. I will keep it here. Yeah. Because I want the hand to, like, drag quite a bit. And so, like, the knife can go like this. Meanwhile, the actual hand, whoops, goes like that. Like a much more, like, it looks more like a drag, I guess. And then I'll just put this, like, shape here just to indicate what it is. And this can be, like, whoops, no. This can be a lot, like, messier than, because again, I'm just trying to get, like, the movement down. I think it's too big. I'm gonna size it down a little bit. Move it, like, move it a bit more this way. Yeah, I don't know. Something like that. And then yeah, maybe I didn't need this frame. Why do I feel like I do? I will. Why do I feel like I will? I'm gonna keep it there just for now because I'm definitely gonna have to go over this with, like, the actual drawing of the hand. Okay, and then I want the hand to be like this, like nice and straight up. Ooh, actually, what if I just copy that, you know? Just, yeah, work smarter, not harder, kids. Work smarter, not harder. Like the hand all nice and upright. Still just like a little bit tilted, but for the most part upright. And then the blade is the one that needs the one that's still has the smear. Let me just move it like this, I guess. Actually, maybe more. And the blade can go like, yeah, like that. Okay. And then turn this off. Okay, so yeah, this is where I'm already like encountering a bit of a problem. So this, whoops. This, I think I'm gonna move it more like this way. Yeah, this is fine. It's this. This needs, I need to push that more. It's not having the intense curve that I want it to have. So, like, I want it to have more, I want it to feel almost like a flick. Like he's almost flicking the sword. It's not like a full flick, but it's like kind of a flick. So maybe something like this could work a little bit more. And And again, because this is more so a smear frame, you don't have to worry too much about, you don't have to worry all that much about, like, how pretty the frame looks. You just have to, like, get that illusion of movement down. It's, anybody who knows about smear frames know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Okay. And I think I'm gonna, like, distort it a bit more. God, I love Fontaine music so much. I say that with, like, every other region in Genshin. It's always, damn, I really love it so much. Cora says, ooh, we just learned a bit about smear frames yesterday. Oh, dude, smear frames are so astronomically helpful with everything. Like, it's actually so insane just how useful smear frames tend to be. Like, I actually get shocked whenever people don't do smear frames and the animation still looks good, because I'm like, it is such a perfect cheat code. Why wouldn't you use it, you know? And it looks cool. There's just something about... Okay, I think I know what it is. I think I know what it is. I think it's just... I'm pushing it too much. Ugh, it's the balance, and it's hard. What if I just... reuse this? God, I'm so lazy. Okay. And yet even... like that. How would that look? Okay. I think that's fine. And this is too high up. We're just going to ignore this frame right here. We're going to ignore that. Okay, so I think here is fine, but I think here's where I can add, like, the proper flick to the hand. In other words, I'll just copy that, so I'm just gonna... Copy. Yeah, I think here's where I can give it that proper flick that I'm looking for. Sizing it to keep it nice. Okay. So, since he's kind of, like, dragging it, like, this way, I'm gonna stabilize, I guess, the hand a little more. Okay. Now, see, with this, at this point, I'm not gonna bother too much about, the camera being out of whack, because at least how I always envisioned this moment was for the camera to kind of like move along with the move along with the movement of the hand and then like stabilize itself once it's like upright. That was like always a thought I had. So as for now, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. It'll all be fixed in post. Just like a bit more like that. Yeah, no, this needs to be higher. And maybe bigger, actually. It doesn't have the same movement that I want, so I'm just gonna give a little more, like, move some things around so it looks like it has a lot more movement. Okay. The Random Therian says, Hi, welcome to the stream. Spider Alper Snaker Shaker, whatever, says, Hello, welcome to my stream. We're chilling, we're animating. It's exactly what it looks like. Okay. I think I know what's the problem with this one. It doesn't have enough. Oh god, I forgot the name of the. I forgot the name exactly what it's called, but it's basically like when you do a movement, there is a moment where your body has to like get back to the position it's supposed to be. Like when you do it, like when you flick your hand, right? There's like a moment where you need to bring the hand back. I forgot exactly what it's called, but I think it's that's messing with me. Why it's 9 here. This person says, you can just call me Shark for short. If you're having trouble with my username, LMAO. Alright then. Okay, so with this one I'm definitely gonna a lot more here, just to show, like, you know, the hand is the one that's like the most flicked back, and then just like a little bit on the rest of the arm, because it's happening to the arm, but it's mostly happening to the hand. Okay, and maybe that was too much on the hand. Yeah, no, that was way too much on the hand. Because again, it's not, it's kind of a flick, but it's not that much. Okay, yeah, like that. And of course, because I put them all like one frame next to another, it's just gonna look like that. That's not how it's going to look like. I do want it to be like a bit of a slower type thing. So okay, I think with this is where I'm gonna have to like organize some of the frames. So I'm sorry, we're gonna have to shut off the Genshin music for now and put the audio back on. I'm sorry. I have to. It's for the sake of timing. I have to for the sake of the timing. So this is where we get to the fun part. This is where we get to playing the same snippet over and over and over again and fiddling around with every other frame for like the next 10 minutes. Trying to make it sound good and to make it match with the music. Okay.
Power and none of the power and none of the.
Okay, right around here is where I want this frame to go. Oh shoot. Right around here is where I want this frame to go. I'm just gonna leave this one frame empty just to mark it. But this is where I want that frame to land. Okay. Yeah, okay, that can stay there. This, I think we can have this frame here. And then these two, because they're a lot more smear frames, they're going to have, I'm going to see like 3x3, see how it looks. Okay. Cora says scrubbing. Hell yeah, yeah. Okay, so for, because I like just thought of this right now. That's also another thing that happens with animation. It's like, even though you're just doing the basic skeletal movements, every once in a while you'll get that little hit of ooh, but what if I do?
All the power and none of the blame. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame.
Okay.
None of the blame. None of the blame.
There's like a beat a little later that I
None of the
want.
blame. You're
No. Stop. I'm trying to like think it.
the blame. The blame. The blame. The blame.
Okay, this might sound crazy, but like,
The blame. The blame.
this is gonna sound so crazy, but what if tiny sword? Yeah, it's supposed to be more like a dagger. What if? Had an idea. What if I flip these two? I like just had that thought. I know I said that I wasn't going to do that, but now I'm thinking, what if I do actually? I'm gonna like it more. I'm thinking that now. Okay.
None of the blame.
Yeah. I'll move that a little forward.
None of the blame. None of the blame. None of the blame.
Okay. And with this, it's not far enough for me, actually. So I'm gonna move it a bit more. And move it a bit more than that. Because not having that range of movement that I'm looking for.
None of the blame. None of the blame. None of the blame.
No, this needs more, actually. Now that I flipped it, it needs more. It needs more because, like, again, I do want a, like, a continuous movement during the blame part. I do want that continuous movement, but, of course, to have the continuous movement, there needs to be enough space for the movement. So, just gonna move it a little more, actually, now that I think about it. And then, again, not as much with this.
None of the blame. None of the blame.
I think I'll have to move it a little closer.
None of the blame.
Okay, I think I'm gonna leave that for now because I'm not doing like the full in between animate. Like right now, I'm basically doing the. Oh God, what is it called? I went to school for this. What was it called? Oh God, keyframes. That's what it was. I can't believe I forgot about that. I'm losing my touch here. I'm doing all of the keyframes now. I'm not really doing all of the breakdowns or the in-betweens. I don't even know if I want to do in-betweens. I think I'm just going to do in-betweens to the most important parts because this is just supposed to be like a really rough animation. Right now I'm doing the keyframes, i.e. the main movement, i.e. like the skeletal nature of the animation. So this is not smooth. This is very choppy, but like I'm just getting the movement down. Like, I'm trying to have, like, just enough frames. It's similar as to why all of the characters, like, why I'm drawing them like this. It's make it simple enough so that you can make big changes so that those changes wouldn't hurt later on because, you know, you don't want to remove a frame you just spent forever on, you know. So, it's better to, like, get the movement down while everything is still rough. Before you fully commit to something. Skylar Azel has a shocked face. Cora says, should the smear hold for a little longer? typically you don't want to like focus too much on smear frames, because a big part of smear frames is that it is such a fast movement that your eye barely captures it. Although sometimes a long smear is definitely helpful. But again, it's all part of the like fiddling around, but I think generally you want the smear to stay fairly unnoticeable. Um, Sharker says, "What was it? I went to school for this. Keyframes." Yeah, keyframes. Rod the Dalmatian says, "Holy Nukabuki, your animation is the best." Thank you, thank you. But
We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame.
okay, I'm just gonna move this. And okay, and I also need to fix this.
Any lives by any lives by any lives.
Yeah, nah, I don't really like how
Any lives by any lives by any lives.
I think this actually should hold out a little longer.
Any lives by any lives by.
Okay, here, ooh, maybe here, he has a moment where he's like standing really down, and then brings himself back up. Which actually, I think it might be this frame. I think it's just this drawing that's messing with me. I think it's that actually. So I'm just gonna move this, bring this here just for the sake of simplicity. Yeah, okay. And yeah, okay. And so of course I want the head to have a bit of a lower arc, because the head right now I want it to kind of be at its lowest. I'm just gonna maybe like a line like this, probably. Whoop, did I just toggle full screen? I did. Get out of here. No, we don't do that. We almost never full screen. Okay, we can bring back the Genshin music, guys. We can bring it back. Okay, and the head's a little too big. So in this case, I think the head will be mostly, not mostly, but covered up by the shoulders. And, hold on a sec. Oops. Again, I kind of want the head to, like, duck quite a lot here, because I kind of want him to look like he's, like, really, really crouched before he, like, brings himself up. You know, freak out the audience just a little bit. And the head's still a little too big. Rod the Dalmatian says, I saw comics in the internet, so I have to make drawing comics. Last time drawing comic at school. It's really funny, and I draw a comic on phone about insects and sketch. Nice. Yeah, I kind of want this guy to, I don't know, to be just like a little unnerving, so. Okay, and then one of his legs could. I'm not gonna worry about the legs too much, because A, this is one frame, and B, like, they're wearing tunics, like you can barely even see the legs. I'm just adding in the leg anatomy, a vague one, just to like, you know, it still moves along with the leg, you know, it's not just floating there. Okay. Okay. And for here, I could have the... That'd be cool. Okay. Floating legs. Okay. And the back isn't as curved as I need it to be. No, let me fix that. Okay. Ah, see, look at that. Already, it already looks so much better. Like, the difference, just pushing the action can make. It's something that I personally need to get a lot better at. Like, I know I just showed an example of it, but I personally need to get a lot better at, quote-unquote, at pushing the poses, because especially when you're animating, you know, all movement is exaggerated. So because I want a moment where he's struck and he's like kind of falling back but brings himself back up, like I was like, no, I need him to be like more crouched, more like hunched over. Because yeah, it only appears for a split second, but it makes like the world of difference. Like, look at that. Like, you can tell that, ugh, so good. Cora says, his body is contorting in ways that aren't conceivably possible. Yeah. I imagine that he is definitely, if he were part of, like, a more sillier story, he's 100% the kind of character who, like, breaks his bones, and then he, like a goddamn skeleton brings himself, like, back up, and then forces his bones back in place. Like, if it were part of a lot, like, sillier story, he'd be that kind of person. Okay. So, with this is, like, quite a big jump in action, I think. So, I think I'm going to add a frame, because, yeah, this is quite a jump in action. So, I think I'm going to add a frame, like, in the middle here, just so, like, you can see, like, he's been struck. Because here you can see he's already, like, clutching his face. I need at least one in-between frame where he's kind of caught by surprise. So, we're gonna do that. Red the Dalmatian says, last year I saw this, Rokurokubi animation, and it was too nervous to watch every month, and I finished the video. So I learned that it's a yokai since I watched Yokai Watch when I was a kid. Nice. Shark says, Peppermint, let's animate. Starts animating, drawing. My bones! Where is my torso? My legs! Yes. Indeed. You gotta break the body when you're animating, guys. It's all the trick of the camera, you know, it's smoke and mirrors. Except there's no actual smoke and mirrors. You're replicating smoke and mirrors, that's what you're doing. Honestly, that is just what animation is. It's just like replicating film, but in a drawing format. Okay. So with this, I was thinking, I don't know if this is gonna work. Again, it's the whole trial and error of animation. But I was thinking that since he's caught a little bit by surprise, instead of moving down, his head moves a little up, because he's just, like, been struck, and it's like, whoa, he's just been a little bit struck, like that, before it like moves down. But again, like his whole body is still moving like this. It's just his head, because he's like he's like with his body. Okay. So I don't want it to be that far up either. Just like a little northern. And just gonna snatch this. Because it's animation and no one's gonna notice it, that's why. Move it down a little bit. Actually, move it up. What am I talking about? Move it up. Because he's just been struck. He's like, Just gonna move this down because it's starting to look a little weird. With his neck going like this. Or more like this, I guess. I don't know. As for his body, is like maybe like an S shape, but like that kind of S shape, not like, I don't know. Yeah. Rod the Dalmatian. Yeah, Rod the Dalmatian says, last question because that's animation. Because that animation looks like the guy breaks his back, like it's like said ouch. Okay. And it's just, we're just gonna move it up here just so that it doesn't look as dumb. Maybe like this first? And then the torso, of course, is a little bit delayed in the response because it would be, not the torso, but like the pelvis would be just the tiniest bit more delayed in the response because he's, I don't know, I was thinking like, I don't know, he doesn't move his whole body in unison. There's like an order to it. And I was thinking that that order starts with the like middle area. As for the legs, I could start moving upwards, because here you can see a bit more of his legs. Okay. And this might actually sound crazy, but I think I'm gonna increase the size of the head just a bit more. Alright, so here, I'm just gonna add the shoulders. Okay, so here, yeah, it's gonna be very similar to like what he's going on with his arm here, but just a little bit more open. Actually, no, like quite a bit more open. Because again, he's not composing this frame yet. He's a bit like, whoa, what the heck? So maybe like you see a lot more of his arm. Like his arm flicks up. Probably won't see too much of his arm here, but definitely here. And his fist is kind of like breaking apart a lot. The fist broke apart because, yeah. Okay. And for how long? Let's go with 3 frames for now, see how that looks. Too short. Maybe 4. Okay, this ain't bad, but I actually think this frame needs to go on for a little longer, actually. Just a little bit. So I think I'm gonna shorten this one. Shark says, drawing. Say this in a chill dude-like voice. Hey, Peppermint, wanna give me some pizzazz? What? Okay. Oh, yep. Yeah, no, that worked out. That was, See, like, I know I sound like a broken record, but animation, especially in the rough stages, really is just playing around with timing. It really is just figuring out what frames should be longer, what frames should be shorter, and honestly, a lot of it is really just the feeling. Like, does it feel like it's moving well? And most importantly, how, like, I can't really say how long a frame should stay. It should be something a bit innate, and if it feels off, move it a frame or 2. Kind of, like, shorten it a little bit, shorten it, elongate it. I heard that, I don't know if it's true, but I just heard that Chuck Jones, which is one of, like, legendary animators of the great old days, when they did the Roadrunner shorts, and, like, all of the scenes of the coyote falling down the cliff, like, they would literally, like, tweak it by the frame. Like, they would sometimes remove a frame or add a frame. And this is back when animation was, like, on actual pen and paper. This was back when you actually had to physically take a photograph of every single frame. And yet they still did it because they knew that, like, it sounds crazy, but even having one frame off would, like, ruin the joke. Yeah, elongating that definitely made it so much better because it makes the impact stronger. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave that one there. This one's great. This right here, perfect. I don't need to do anything with that. That's so good. Perfect. Here's a little funny smear for you guys. And here's a completely different where he's doing his creepy little smile. Honestly, I think I might need to do... Whoops, got the nail. Might have to push the mouth just a little bit. Yeah, this? I need an man, I need to add an extra frame there. It's just... But I think I'm gonna do that later. Because it's just too much of a jump. Them some hands. Thank you. Thanks. I've been working on my hands, if y'all couldn't tell. I seriously need to work on my backgrounds. Here I am being like, no, let me work on my eyes, let me work on my hands, let me work on my hair, and it's like, you need to work on those backgrounds. It's like, yeah. I need to do some background studies with y'all. Okay. And then there's this moment. Yeah, see, this is too much of, like, it's too much of a jump. I think this is one of those rare instances where I am going to have to elongate the smear frame. But mostly because... Or actually, what am I talking about? Maybe it does look good. Or maybe it is good, actually. Oh, I was going to say that, like, in between here, there should be an extra frame slowing down the motion. And actually, now that I say that, maybe I am right. Maybe my intuition is correct. I need a frame to slow down the motion. Slow down the motion of this, just so it kind of like, again, it's one of those like, it's like he went really fast and he slowed down to get in the position he wants to be. So, what if I just like steal this? Which I will. Whoops. And then move this down. Down a bit like that. Now with this is not an exact, because this is not an exact, like, middle breakdown frame, like it isn't in the middle of the frame, because that's not my intention. My intention isn't so much to break down the movement, but more so slow down the movement from here to here. And so because of that, you don't want to do like a perfect in-between frame, because then you're not slowing down the movement, you're just breaking it down. But I want the movement to slow down specifically on this part. And so this in-between frame is more so a movement of the green than it is the red. I'm using the red as a guide to where the previous frame is, but I'm mostly just moving everything from the green. Or, like, from the frame after. This is on a 25 size brush. Wait, is it on a 25? Wait, no, it totally is. Okay. Cora says, like an ease in and ease out. Yes, 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 yes. Man, I'm like losing all of my animation terminology. I'm rusty. Yes, exactly. It's ease-ins and ease-outs, yeah. I forgot what exactly they were called. I'm like, it's one of the techniques. It's not necessarily an in-between, not really. I mean, it is, but like not in that sense. It serves another purpose. Yes, it's that. Okay, and creepy smile, of course, stays the same. Okay. Honestly, what if, because there's not gonna be that much movement on the hand, so what if I just do that? And then just do this. Work smarter, not harder, kids. Animation takes forever. Do whatever you can to not make it take forever. You're not cheating by doing that. You're just being really smart. Okay. Extend that. Okay, how does that look? Yep. No, oh, that's perfect. No, that's basically animation already. Like, I don't need to add any more frames. That's, yeah. Yeah, okay. No, we're good with that. And then, of course, here's where Robin is. And this one is already fine. And this is literally just, like, one frame. Okay. I think I did all of Guy's parts, but let me see them once again. Whoa, you're going to bed. What the hell? What the hell? My man, what the heck? Hello? No, you're not. Heck are you doing? Why are you looking like that? Okay, I'm just gonna take his face because it's the face mostly that has the movement. That's weird. Cause the whoops. Because this frame is more like him going back to, like, the pose he's supposed to be in. Wait a second. Oh, wait, no, it already moved, so. Okay. Neosonic Fan 100 says hi, hello. Welcome to my fun little animating stream. Okay. I don't like how this shoulder looks, it looks wrong. Okay. And the hood. Okay. Am I underwater now? Yep, underwater. I love how I just know that. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Good. And that's fine. That's more than fine. That's with Robin. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that for later. Those are one of those, I'll do that later type things. Okay. So we're just gonna look over this with the actual song. So let's just cut the Genshin music out for right now. Let's look this over with the song again without Robin. Or actually, would he be distracting? Okay, I'm gonna watch it once by himself and then with the Robin sketches I did, or the thumbnails actually. But we're
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different. We're one and the same. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame. You're not saving any lives by killing an innocent boy. Then what in Olympus's name did you do in Troy?
and of course you can't see this part because
We're one and the same.
okay. And with the Robin frames, although I didn't do all of them obviously because I gave up during the stream. But
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different. We're one and the same. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame. You're not saving any lives by killing.
okay, yeah, and then you can't even see him there. So, okay. Okay. So we're done with guys like mostly like super rough like puppetry-ish, I guess. We're done with that. We're done with that. Oh, actually, first thing that I should do is I should probably mark every scene. It's a thing that I have been doing since my senior thesis. Create scene marker. I don't know, it can be orange, it's fine. Where it's basically I do it just so that I know when like the camera cuts to like a different frame. So, for example, for Let me just find an example. Like, yeah, like right here. These are different cuts. These are completely different, like, cuts in the thumbnails. So that means, like, here I will put a scene marker. Just so that I'm, like, organized. Yeah, this is also a different scene marker. Okay. This empty part's gonna be with Robin. There's obviously like a... And of course this whole hand sequence is going to be one scene. Whoops. Starting back. This is all still part of the same scene. Here is where it changes up a little bit. That's, of course... Oh, that's an even better example right here. It's that, like, if you're not noticing, you don't even realize that it's a completely different, like, scene. Which is why these little markers are important. Or just, like, really helpful. I should have done this from the start, but I didn't. Right here. And I know for a fact I have a keyframe for the... Yeah, right here. See this little part. Actually, I think I'm just going to push this frame all the way up here, actually. Because if not, it looks a lot. Okay. Just look over it one more time.
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different. We're one and the same. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame. You're not saving any lives by killing an innocent boy. Then what in Olympus's name did you do in Troy? We're one and the same.
Okay. Okay, time to do Robin's stuff. Yay! Time to do Robin's stuff. Time to do his... Yeah, so he first appears here. This is definitely going to be a case of me redrawing this entire thing, but with, like, blobs. It's gonna be one of those. So, yeah. Yeah, okay. Because that's how it looks. Yeah, no. Sorry, I just flashbanged you guys. Cora says, I love his evil grin. Yeah. He's unhinged. He's a little bit of a lunatic, you know? Just a little bit crazy. Just a little bit crazy. Okay, we can bring back music. We love our little lunatic. Oh, crazy guy. Now this, unfortunately, I don't have much commentary to give. Because this is literally just me redrawing, my mess up. Basically. Now, I always have the urge to draw Robin really skinny. I always have that urge. But then I remember, like, no, dude, he's an archer. Like, his legs could be skinny, I guess. But, like, his arms most definitely aren't. Like, his arms gotta have some meat on there to be able to, like, hold the bow. Which, actually, this might sound crazy, but I think I might just remove the bow altogether. Even though in the fight, in the original chapter that I wrote with him, he has the bow most of the time, not the entire time. He does loses it in, like, towards the end. But most of the time, Robin still has his bow, not because he can use it, because Guy is too close to him. Like, he can't use that range effectively. But because he kind of uses his bow, low-key, kind of like as a shield. Is it an effective shield? Hell no, but it's better than nothing. It's better than his hands. So in the original chapter, he is using the bow kind of as a shield, but like I'm gonna lie, it might make this drawing like a little bit more complicated than I want it to be. So I think I might just like remove the bow. I think I just might. Cora says, but his bow is his whole thing! Yeah, it is, but like, I'm lazy. No, okay. Here, I could put like a rough hand. There we go. Good. And here he's, yeah, held back. I might take this a little more back. Okay. And why is his shoulder slumped? Like, the hell? Why is his shoulder slumped here? Like, what was I drawing? Like, they should not be slumped. Ooh, what if, like, his hand is here instead? Like, trying to stop, the blade from getting too close to him. Cora says, read a comic today. It had Ten-Eyed Man as a major character. Wish I knew who it was. Okay. Okay, I think... No, see, I like it, but I think it's far too... It makes this... Yeah, that part of his arm way too long, so I'm just gonna elongate that. Okay. And I'm fine with his arm, with his other arm being like like that. I don't know. I'm fine with that. That's fine. Cora says he's a DC villain. He had some messed up surgery that put his eyes on all his fingers. Ugh. Dang. It's black. Okay. Alright, yeah. I think I'm gonna have that like this. Oh, forgot to turn that off, sorry. It's like a little different. Okay. Yose Hateme? I hope I pronounced it decent. Says hi, welcome to the stream. We're chilling, we're animating. Yeah, that's basically what we're doing. Yep. Okay, I think I might remove Guy from here because he's being just like, just a little bit distracting for now. Yeah. Nice, yeah. Okay, I'm just bring him back periodically so that I know where he is at every given moment. By the way, call me Water because my name is Water in Irish. Nice, cool. Okay, now I can remove Guy. And again, like, his shoulders should be a lot more, like, jutting out than I probably have them being. Okay. Where's the knife? Oh, he still has it in his hand. Okay. Okay, maybe since the knife is away from him, he can close his hand just a little bit. Not fully, though. Just a little bit. Like that. Okay. Yeah. Close it just enough. And a little bit more, like, out than what I had originally. Yeah, like that. Just gonna remove this and put this back on. And still the same like logic here. Maybe just like a little more. Like that. Okay. And yeah, it's because, yeah, Guy was there. Yep. This one I think I have to definitely fiddle around just a little more with. Because I didn't draw the rest of it. Just get Guy again. Maybe here, and I mean, you wouldn't even see much of it anyway, but like, but you wouldn't really see much of it. I'm not gonna worry about it too much because Guy is quite literally covering the rest of the frame. So I'm gonna try not to like worry too much about it. Okay. Now see for this frame. Oh boy. This frame, because the only thing I'm really imagining with this frame, I'm not really, like, not this frame, but with this, like, scene, question mark? The only thing I'm really imagining with this scene is just, really just Robin talking with his, like, arms shaking. But his arms shaking because of the knife. But now that that I have removed the knife. Not remove the knife, remove the bow. Like I was thinking his hands are like shaking because he's like holding back with his bow. But now that I'm like thinking of removing the bow, maybe instead he just like looks down. That's it. He just like moves his face a little as he's talking. That's fine actually. I can do that. That's fine. That's good. We can do that. I already have this pretty bomb-ass hand that I really don't want to, like, mess with. But I gotta. Not too much, though, just Okay. I'm gonna have it like this. Alright. Yeah, okay, and by here is where I stopped. I didn't do any more of those kinds of frames. Okay, so for here... Definitely... Okay, so for this part right here, before Guy goes in and attacks him. So, okay, here, I definitely need... Just lift up the shoulders a bit. I'm not liking it. I definitely need, like an impact where he gets, like, hits the tree. Because right now he just looks pretty relaxed, and it's like, nah, he kind of hits the tree when Guy, like, slams into him. So, yeah, because right now this is just, like, the thumbnails. This is fine. This can be something. But right now, this is just the thumbnails. I need, like, one where he's, like, yeah, he hits the tree, before he recovers back to the state he's in here. And I am going to put this on the same frame as, in which Guy arrives. Because, I mean, yeah, that's where the impact would be when he actually gets, like, when he actually hits the tree. Okay. Which... Actually, I don't think I need to focus on the red too much. It's mostly the green that I need to focus on. Because again, it's like coming back from that frame. Mark Reed says, hi, hey, welcome to my little animating stream. Okay, yeah, I think I might have to blip out for a hot second. I'll be back, I swear, but I'll just blip out for like the quickest little moment, okay? Just bear with me. Me not realizing I left the stream without music on. Whoopsie. Oh, or the music just timed out. Wait, was this Don Winery theme? Nah. Hold on, let me find something else. See, I'm afraid because... Oh, Samara's good. Samara's good. We can do Samara.
Meet the new standard.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. I would get bombarded with ads because I don't know which one's which. Okay. Alright, let's go with this one instead. Alright. Back to the Animating. Okay. So... It ended a second ago, so you're good. Okay, good. For a split second, I thought, did I just, like, leave it without music on? And then I was like, oh, no, I just finished. I just didn't realize how close we were to the end. Okay. So this one, cause here his body's a little bit like that. You know, here his body is like, pwah. Cause it just slammed into a tree, you know, like, cause he's on a tree. So move it a little forwards a little too. Okay. It's gonna steal this head here. Move it here. Maybe make it like a little smaller. Move it a bit back. And maybe he's still, yeah, no, he's still keeping eye contact with Guy. He's not like, ugh. He's not like that, but like, it still hurts. But no, I still definitely want him to keep like eye contact with him. As much as it, like... Okay. Actually, I think I might move the head just like a little more, like here. Move this a little more like that. Just trying to push more of this moment. Uncomfy eye contact. Well, I mean it's a threat. Like, imagine if like a bear was chasing you, you know, you're gonna keep your eyes on that animal for as long as you possibly can. It's like similar logic. Because you never know, like, just like the second you look away, something could happen. Which is what happens in my original chapter. In this chapter, in the original chapter, I mean, there's one moment where Robin, okay, he doesn't look away like that. It's more like Robin gets struck, and in that pain, he jerks back for a hot second. And okay, I'm not describing it well at all, actually. Okay, I'm not describing it well. But okay, basically what happens is that Guy is being like, it is like Robin is finally having the upper hand, okay? Robin finally has the upper hand against Guy, right? And so Guy pulls out, like, this was an idea I had, okay? Just, like, bear with me. I had an idea that Guy had a trump card, which was basically, like, a sewing needle that he has hiding in his pockets. Just draw it better. I was thinking that he has a sewing needle that he has in his like pocket, and so like the second he feels just a little bit overwhelmed, he pulls out that sewing needle and just like jams it into the skin of just jams it into somebody. And that's exactly what he does with Robin. He like jams it like on his arm. So like Guy is feeling a bit overwhelmed because Robin is finally taking the upper hand for once. Guy pulls out his surprise sewing needle. His surprise sewing needle, jams it into Robin's arm. And then of course, like Robin, like, like, he jerks back. He's like, it's like a sharp, sudden pain. And yeah, it's a needle, but it's not that pointy either. So it's like, there's a little bit of blunt force in there. It's painful, is what I'm trying to say. And so, like, of course, Robin is like, ah, shoot, because, like, you know, that hurts. And in that moment, it's at least my idea, in the split second that Robin jerks back, to, like, you know, react to the pain, that is when Guy strikes him again. And okay, I just explained all this, the gist of it. I forgot why I mentioned that, actually. No, I literally forgot why I mentioned that. But it was an idea that I had from the first draft. I don't know if I want to keep it in the final product, because I personally think it's a cool idea, but I don't know if it's, like, I don't know if it makes a lot of sense. I just kind of thought it was cool. I just kind of thought it'd be really cool if, Guy uses that split-second reaction of pain as his advantage. Cora says, oh no, hidden craft tools? The most dangerous of weapons. Originally it was just going to be a needle, actually. Originally it was just a normal, like, sewing needle. Like, just like a normal needle you would see at, like, just a normal needle. But then I was like, no. Because Guy would, A, he would lose those needles so easily. B, he would prick himself with those needles. He would die from those needles before, like, the person he's trying to kill. So I was like, no. They need to be one of those big, like, made of bone sewing needles that people used to use back in the day, where, I mean, they're not huge, but they're bigger than the average modern needle, you know, big enough that you can notice it and you can grab it without feasibly harming yourself, but still pointing enough that it's, like, that it's a needle, you know, yeah. Okay. Need to lock in. Okay, so for here, definitely, like, his arms, like, a little spread back because, duh, he just got hit, it's the impact. And then I'm thinking his arm could be, or the rest of his, like that. And then something really similar here. Okay. Okay. Gets hit, recovers. This arm is way too big. This arm is way too big. I need to size it down. Alright, here. Yeah, okay, I need another frame where he gets pushed back. Because it's not obvious that that's what's going on. Yeah, I need where he's, like, pushed back. Using that good old line of action. Powder Sauce says, hey, Peppermint! Hey! Welcome to my silly little stream. I'm gonna just snatch the head again, as is customary. Just gonna make it a little bit bigger, a little bit more downer. This is another one of those where the head is going to drag behind a little bit, so I'm gonna move it down. Like down from where the previous head is, because it's being like dragged. Noob says, so Sigma. I like this. It's so cool. Thanks. Okay. This is where I'm gonna put his body moving really funny. It's not having the same, it's not, I think at this point I just need to do like that at this point. Like literally just a curved line. 'Cause I think like maybe it's adding too much structure. That's like messing with me. That's another thing that I was taught in my animation class, is know when to break the structure of a character. Because there's going to be times where the anatomy is just not going to do what you want for the animation. And it's not because like there's anything wrong with your anatomy. It's the smear frame logic. It's the smear frame logic that like there's so much movement in such short amount of time that there really is no way you can do it properly with its proper anatomy. You kind of have to break it sometimes. Noob says, this urges me to animate, so I'll go animate. Awesome, yeah. Okay, here, I think I'll definitely keep the, let me remove this shoulder, I don't really like it. Yeah, I'll keep the arms a little bit, like, forward moving, like, just a little bit forward, because again, they're being dragged back from the force, and then they can, like, snap back a little bit when he hits the tree, because that's how movement works, I guess. So let me add the shoulders. And the arm. Okay, maybe like that. And me turn a little bit. Actually, let me move it a little more this way. Okay. Whoops. Okay. I think I'm gonna have to move him a little more this way. Just so that, yeah, just so that that could work. Okay, okay, okay. Got that, I got that, I got that. Okay, okay, we got that, we got that. We got the thing. Okay, so now I'm just gonna, like, time where these go. I don't think I need to, like, play the music or anything with this one. I think I'm just gonna... Because he's just getting hit, so... So this is obviously going to last, like, a little longer. I'm gonna put, like, a good 4 frames in between. Meanwhile, this one, I think I'm gonna do, like, 3. See how that looks. Yep, nope, that's good. Yeah, no, that's good. Surprisingly, I think this might sound crazy, but I think I'm gonna bend it even more. There we go. Yeah. I'm gonna move the face even lower as well. Okay. Now I always envisioned the little moment before he gets hit is like Robin realizing like, oh shoot, this guy's going to attack me, and so he moves to like this exact pose that he's in. I don't want it to be like a big dramatic movement, just like a couple of frames showing like him bracing himself. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna do one keyframe. Yeah, I think I'm just gonna do one keyframe of him preparing himself, because I think everything else would be more so in between than anything. Actually, yeah, let me just put his entire face. His whole face here. And he's kind of like a little bit of a weird S shape. So I think for this one, it's, yeah, not as egregious, of course. Move this down a bit. And so I guess this face would be a lot. Yeah. Actually, this might be a little bit lower. Because he's not as, like, hunched, I guess? I don't know. Not as prepared for danger, I guess you could say. And his... moves even forward, actually, even more forward. As for his arms, a bit closer than the previous. And I don't want them to be like all the way down. I don't want them to be relaxed, not necessarily. I more so just want him to be like in the middle of the movement. So maybe like the hand would be here instead. As for this, I guess can just like be like here. Okay. This would actually kind of... Hold on a sec, I think I messed up. There we go. Yeah, like that, like that. Oops. Like that. And I don't know if I want to add an in-between here. I'm not sure. Maybe a little bit later. Like 3 frames, maybe? Make it 3 frames long? Or... full 4 frames. Yeah, and then maybe here. Oh, maybe this, because I'm running out of frames to put proper in-betweens, I guess. So I guess here I could just straight up do an in-between here. Straight up, because it still looks a bit odd. Okay. Yeah, I don't need to do anything here. That's fine. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep this frame static, this Robin frame static, because most of the movement is gonna be with Guy. Guy's gonna be doing all of the movement here, so I think I'm just gonna keep this one static. Save for like a blink, I guess. Here, yeah, no, I already mentioned here. At the very least, just like his face, just like, look, let's just. We're lazing out with this one. It's gonna be a dialogue moment anyway. Like, you're all just gonna be looking at his, like, mouth move anyway when we get to lip syncing. Like that. Bam. Bam. Beautiful. Amazing. Perfect. Okay. And actually, let me lower it just a little more. Okay. Yeah, that works. That works. That's fine. Cora says laziness be like that. Yeah, especially when you're in this stage. Like, I am an advocate for tricks and tips for animation. I'm a massive advocate because like half the reason we get like our shows and our animes that we do is because of these techniques. So I'm actually a full advocate of them, but especially when you're in this rough stage, use whatever cheats you can. You're in the rough stage, guys. You're in the rough stage. Use whatever cheap trick you gotta use because like at this stage in the animation, what is really the most important is the movement. Like, nothing else matters. The prettiness of the drawings don't matter. Actually, yeah, no, just, like, the prettiness of the drawings do not matter how consistent they are. Okay, maybe they do matter a little bit. But generally, the main thing that matters at this stage of animation is just the movement. So if you can get that movement down, while drawing as minimal frames as possible, do it. Literally just do it. Like, if you want to go ham, once you start adding details, you can do that. But at this stage, I am like an even stronger advocate of cheats. And they're not cheats. I don't think they are cheats. They're just helps. They're the guides. Because, like, you know, animators wouldn't be working as fast as they do now. And we're talking about an industry that's just naturally slow. They couldn't go as fast as they are now if it weren't for these. Okay. Okay. I actually think I need I need longer for him to stay like this. So I'm going to take these frames and maybe I'll put them at 30, at frame 30, which means that because this frame is where Guy is at, it means that I need to move his frames as well. Let me turn this off. Yeah, I need to move his frames as well. And I think I'm gonna cut these here. And this moment where he goes back a little, I think I'm gonna move it here. Or maybe like 1 frame of a delay. No, I don't think you'd notice it. Yeah, I had to adjust Guy's frames or else it would look really wrong. No, this is fine. This is perfectly fine. Who moves first? Robin moves first? No, actually, maybe they do move at the same time. That would just make more sense. Yeah, no, that makes so much more sense. Maybe even like less of Guy here. Maybe only 2 frames. Okay. Okay, now I can close this. Okay, I think I got Robin's first scene thing pretty well. Yeah, I think I got this little like moment pretty, like, keyframe wise, obviously. I think I got the keyframes pretty down. Then yeah, that's just Guy moving. That's Robin doing his thing. Actually, okay, let me time when he would move. Let me just turn that off a bit. Like 1 more frame? Maybe another frame more? Or maybe just 1 more, I don't know. I'm debating. Yeah, no, that's fine. That's fine. That's fine. Okay. Thing back on. This is when Guy does his thing. Okay, so this is where it gets a little complicated on the Robin section, which I don't think I'm going to be doing in... Noob says they might not be the same. I don't know. I don't think they are, actually. This is where, like, this entire moment here is where it gets complicated, which I'm not going to do on the stream because, like, we're running out of time. I ain't doing that. But it's basically, like, right as Guy, like, moves his, dagger, like, behind it, it's Robin's face. And, he's basically, like, sliding the dagger across his throat, is more or less what's going on. He's not cutting Robin's throat, but he's sliding the blade across the throat as a threat. Duh, like that's obviously what he's doing. But I don't think I'm gonna do that to this stream. I don't feel like it either. Yeah, no, here is where, and I'm sorry to flashbang you guys. Yeah, here is when we get Robin pulling out his own dagger. And Guy's frames are here for now. Okay. Yeah, so I think here, Okay, so with this, because the only thing that's really moving is Robin's arm, because that's the only thing that's really moving, I think I'm just gonna make his body a completely different frame. like a layer underneath, because his body isn't gonna be moving, it's just gonna be the arm. So I'm just gonna draw out the arm. That's, yeah. And I think after this, we can cut the stream. Honestly, because... yeah. I think we're at a decent spot to end it. Okay. Oh, and the dagger's underneath. Because it's in its sheath. Or actually, I think I'll just leave the hand, actually. It's a little too thick now. Powder Sauce says, "Hey Peppermint, have you tried those K-free latte macchiato drinks back then? By me struggling to pronounce it, probably no. When you put latte, it instantly makes me think of coffee, and I am not the biggest coffee person. Not by choice though. I love coffee. I love the taste of coffee. Yeah, I'm one of those weird people that likes the taste of coffee. The problem for me is the caffeine. The caffeine, I don't know what it is about my body, but like I cannot handle caffeine very well. And it's like, and it's not even in the like, haha, funny, like, oh, she can't take caffeine. No, I mean, like, I literally cannot focus when I'm on caffeine. Like, a lot of people drink coffee so that they can, like, you know, like, stay awake and do their work better, but to me, it's actually the opposite effect. I literally cannot focus on anything if, like, after I drink some coffee. And so even though I love the taste of coffee, I only drink it in very, very specific times. Like, my general rule of thumb is it the day? Like, not even the day. Like, is it borderline the morning? Like, not borderline the morning, but like, because I'm not a morning person. Like, will it be day enough for me to not feel the effects when the sun goes down? And most importantly, am I doing anything important that day? If I do anything that requires any sort of focus, which is most of the time, that's a no. Now, if I'm just like having a day off and hanging out with like some friends, then yeah, I'm gonna drink coffee. But like, if I'm, for instance, going to work, I can't. Like, I actually can't. So, I'm not the biggest coffee person. Not because I don't like it. I love it. But because, like, my body is like, no. No. Oh, sorry. Powder Sauce also says, "Hey Peppermint, I made some, Devi-tune airings of Tots TV. Wanna check them out?" I'm scared. And that scares me. Yeah, I was drawing his little arm holding the dagger. Okay, and the little thing. Powder sauce says it's pronounced Devitune. Devitune. Oh. Okay. Okay. And anything else? Yeah, okay. We're moving on to these scenes. I think I'm only going to draw these, and then I think I'm gonna cut the stream. Like after these. Obviously we're gonna look over everything after that, but like I think these are gonna be it. Need a smaller brush for that. This is gonna sound a little bit out of pocket. Dudes, guys, girlettes, we need more fantasy stories with like Middle Eastern inspiration, or like, actually no, just Middle Eastern inspiration, or just like anything that's not the medieval Europe or Imperial China. And I say this as somebody who like lives and breathes medieval Europe. Okay, I love medieval Europe. It's the reason why my stories, like, I mean, okay, the reason is because my stories take place in medieval Europe, but like, I live and breathe medieval Europe. All right, guys, like, but even I'm kind of like, dudes, but like, one thing I love so much about Genshin is the fact that it is a fantasy world, but like, you know, you have like the Middle East, you have Latin America, you have, hell, the Industrial Revolution. Actually, how many times do y'all see the Industrial Revolution used in fantasy? Like it's normally steampunk, which, yeah, Fontaine is steampunk in a sense, but, you know, it still retains that, like, traditional fantasy feel. Or, like, the Roman Empire, yeah, it's like how many fantasy worlds do you see anything beyond, like, even if it is in Europe, it's not like Roman Europe or industrial Europe or, hell, 1700s Europe, you know, like, you know, something like that. And there is a reason why it's always medieval. It's because of Tolkien. That's the reason. Tolkien, like, he's called the father of fantasy for a reason, and Middle Earth was heavily inspired by, shocker shocker, medieval England. Like, I know why, okay? I know why fantasy is almost always in the medieval times, and that is not a bad thing. Again, I love the medieval times. I live and breathe the medieval times. But, like, sometimes it's like, oh, and the reason why I mention, like, Imperial Japan or Imperial China is because of anime. That, for anime, if it's not in old-timey Europe, then it's in old-timey China, or if it's in old-timey Japan, or old-timey Asian country. Which, you know, obviously makes sense for them, duh. No duh. But, like, man, because, like, one of my favorite animes, and every time I say this, people are like, that's one of your favorite animes? Yes, it is. Magi, the Labyrinth of Magic. Deadass, one of my favorite animes. And one of the reasons why I like it so much is because it is a proper fantasy that is mostly inspired by the Middle East. Mostly. And when I say mostly, I mean kinda. but the fact is, it's not Europe. And like the one nation Magi has that is inspired by Europe is the Roman Empire. Actually, like, no, it isn't even like the medieval world. It's more so the ancient world. And it's one of the reasons why I thought Magi's world was really interesting, is the fact that, most fantasy stories is in, if not medieval, then like medieval Renaissance, modern age, which, like, not modern age, it's the Middle Ages. You guys know what I mean. You guys know what I mean. It is almost never ancient ages as well, now that I think about it. Cora says, no, you're so right. I'm so tired of seeing fantasy that's ambiguously European. Like, give me an isekai that takes place in a world that's heavily influenced by other cultures. Exactly. And it's like, I even mentioned, like, even if you want to stay in Europe, like, Europe has more than the Renaissance and the medieval times, They have the ancient age, you have ancient Greece, you have ancient Rome. Hell, Rome itself had wildly, I'm sorry, I'm on a tangent right now. Rome itself had wildly different time periods because it lasted a long time. You have the Roman kingdom, and you have the Roman Republic, and you have the stereotypical Roman Empire. And although they're all the general Roman aesthetics, they're still like little cultural differences here and there. Like the Roman Empire was not the Roman kingdom. Like ancient Greece itself, like the Odyssey, for you epic fans out there, the Odyssey does not take place in the stereotypical ancient Greece. Actually, I think during the time the Odyssey takes place, the people didn't even see themselves as Greek. They weren't Greek. They called themselves something else. I forgot what it was. They were virtual. Okay, what I'm saying is that, like, even if you want to stay in Europe, there's still wildly different time periods that you can pull from. Hell, even the modern age. Again, Genshin using the Industrial Revolution. Like, you almost never see that. And again, like, you can be like, oh, but like steampunk. And I'm like, yeah, but steampunk doesn't have gods and monsters and spirits and fae. Like, I don't know, I just think it'd be super cool. I just think it'd be super, super cool if, like, more fantasy authors focused a lot more on something greater than Europe or Asia. Like, the Middle East, Africa, Central Asia, the Americas? Like, the Americas, like, dude, like, Mesoamerica it's just, like, screaming fantasy world here. Okay, I need it, I got distracted. It's another reason why I can talk forever as to why I love Genshin so much. And one of those reasons is definitely, although they don't do it perfectly, okay, they don't do it perfectly, because they do not. But the fact that they even went beyond China and Europe, or Asia and Europe, the fact that they even went beyond that, the fact that they went beyond old-timey Europe, and, well, I mean, industrial is still old-timey, but not as old-timey as Mondstadt is. Which I will continue to say every time I mention Mondstadt and its, like, inspirations. The amount of times I needed to beat on the heads of the people that it is not medieval Europe. See, this is one of the problems of me not only making stories that take place in the medieval times, but also want to portray the medieval times semi-accurately. Like, you also realize that, like, no one does their research for medieval Europe. Nobody. Like, Genshin gets so much flack for misrepresenting other cultures for good reason. I'm not going to say that it's unwarranted, because it's, like, the criticism is definitely deserved. However, I'm not European, okay? But, like, I can tell when an outfit is wrong, for example. I can tell when an outfit is wrong, and yet nobody cares. And I think a big reason for that is because, you know, European culture has just dominated so much of the world that either you don't notice it or flat out you just don't care, right? But I don't think it's that people don't care. I think it's just people straight up don't notice that, like, people tend to see Europe as like one massive blob of pale people and not, you know, their own individual cultures that they were. Like, people think Europe now almost like homogeneously, but like if you went back to like, hell, even like the 1700s, like, you're on the same island, you're in the British Isles, okay? The Irish saw themselves wildly different from the English, who saw themselves wildly different from the Scots, who saw themselves very different from the Welsh. And this is all in the tiny island. And although their cultures weren't super distinct, there's still differences. It's like Latin America. It's like Latin America. Like, one of the reasons why a lot of non-Mexican people get frustrated when people call you Mexican isn't because it's a bad assumption to make. Like, it is a logical assumption, but it's more so the idea that, like, your culture is the same as Mexicans, where, yes, Latin American culture is very, very similar. You know what I mean? Like, Mexican culture is very similar from, like, Venezuelan culture, but the differences are enough that the people still see themselves as different people. Like, we all see ourselves under the Latin America, the Hispanic umbrella, but at the same time, we're also like, oh, but I'm not Mexican. You know, I'm not Venezuelan. We're Latin, but we're not the same people. There's similar cultures, but they're just different enough that we can be considered different. And it's like that in Europe. And it was like that in Europe. And so with fantasy, like, people are like, oh, I'm going to call what is so obviously like Renaissance Italy, I'm gonna call that like medieval England. And it's like, no, they are so different. Cora says, the most notable fantasy story I can recall is 12 Kingdoms. It's a bit on the slower side, but gosh, their way of their world works is so interesting. Like, people are born from trees there. Hey, yo, that's cool. It's like fae, or is it like humans being born from trees? But it's another pet peeve that I have with the fantasy genre in general. Even when they only depict like medieval Europe, because even then, like, what should be the most obvious choice, actually no, what is the most obvious choice, like, is still treated with not that much care. Again, with the like, there's obviously exceptions. I think Tolkien, being the father of fantasy, is one very obvious exception. He was very, very, very much inspired by medieval Celtic Britain. It's the reason why traditional fantasy has druids, and it has fae, and it has, well, yeah, like druids and fae and stuff like that, because a lot of those were Celtic, and a lot of the Celtic culture remained in the British Isles. Yeah. Anyway, this is just me ranting about people calling Mondstadt medieval Europe for the billionth time, because it's like, it's like genuinely a pet peeve of mine, because I'm like, there is no way. You look at Venti's outfit. You look at... Hold up. Just bear with me for a little bit, guys. There is no way you can look... There's no way you can look at this outfit and tell me, oh, it's medieval. It's Baroque. it's Baroque. The Baroque is like late 16, like 17-ish hundreds. Like think of like revolutionary America. That's more or less Baroque. It's Baroque. It's Baroque. It's the puffy, not the puffy. Yeah, no, it's the puffy sleeves. It's the cuffs. It's the corset, which yes, both men and women wore corsets during the Baroque times. Actually, they weren't even called a corset. I think they were called stays. Anyway, it's the fact that they're even wearing a shirt. It's the puffy sleeved shirt. It's the billowing cuffs. It's the bow tie. It's the corset. It's the long socks, but not just the long socks. It's the long socks in combination of shorts because pants weren't like super popular yet. It's the normal dress shoes. It's the goddamn beret. This is not medieval. This is not even Renaissance. By the time we get to puffy sleeved shirts, we are past the Renaissance. We're off, like we're not too far from the Renaissance, but we are past enough. I'm ranting right now. We are past enough that that's not even the Renaissance anymore. The Renaissance is often confused with the medieval times because there is overlap, but that's the thing. There is overlap. There are differences between the Renaissance and the medieval times, but it's not as much as like the Baroque. The Baroque is closer to the Victorian age than it is to the Renaissance. But like, I guess because people aren't wearing three-piece suits, people immediately assume that it's an even older time period. It's like, no, this evolved into the three-piece suit. This evolved into that. The puffy shirts evolved into the dress shirts. Okay? The puffy shirts evolved into the dress shirts. The corset evolved into the bra. The shorts evolved into like what we think of shorts today, but also pants. The shorts evolved into pants. What was it? The long socks? I mean, they just kind of got a little shorter. They're still socks. Like, this is, like, these two are way closer to the time period than the Renaissance is. And yes, they are kind of fresh off the Renaissance, but not that fresh. Okay, that's Pep ranting about, people not understanding, or people not being super knowledgeable in, historical aesthetics. And it also differed between nations, and I'm talking European nations. Like, Britain and France had differences in fashion. Like, France and Germany had differences in fashion. Spain and Italy had differences in fashion. It's kind of like Latin America, where they're not so different it is immediately obvious, but it's different enough that, well, they're different. You know what I mean? It's different enough that they're different, you know? The traditional clothing of Mexico and the traditional clothing of, like, Peruvians, yeah, they're very similar, but they're not the same. Same thing with Europe. I don't know. I feel kind of weird, though, because, like, a lot of people are super duper careful with non-European countries, which, again, is completely fair, and there is a 100% understandable reason as to why. But I don't know, I guess I'm one of those people that, like, I'm like, if we're going to be representing cultures accurately, which we should represent all of them accurately. And I don't think Europe has to be excluded, because it's really sad to hear a British person say, we don't have a culture. And it's like, yeah, you do. Or I guess it's more accurately to say, yes, you did. You did have a culture. In fact, you had several cultures throughout your existence. And you have a culture now. It's just that people care so little about it, you don't even see it as a culture anymore. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna finish up these frames. I missed Chorus's comment. Chorus says, humans, kind of sort of animals, but also not. Any form of life they're born into from trees. That's really cool, actually. I love that. You know what I really love? I love the idea, the fantasy concept of a humanoid. Well, it's not really fantasy. I guess it's more folklore, I guess. Like, I don't know. I love the concept of a humanoid creature that, you know, looks human, acts human, talks like a human, but they have a lot of like animalistic aspects that they don't like. It's kind of like an uncanny valley. Like, there's so much like a human, but something about them, whether like inherent or societally, is just like not human, that it kind of makes you go, ooh, like, what is this? Like sirens, for example. Like, in most media, you know, they're very humanoid looking. If you ignore certain aspects, you can even think of them as human. And yet, you know, typically in fantasy, sirens hunt in packs, and people are part of their, like, is part of the food chain, and, you know, it's like, they're so much like humans, but they're still, they have, like, human level intelligence, but they still, like, they're still animals in a way. I love that concept. And I like to flip it around. I love the idea of, like, I love the idea of, like, ants being, like, these tiny little animals with, like, puny-sized brains. And yet ants, I love the concept of, like, ants having, like, human-level intelligence, because although they don't have human-level intelligence, a lot of ant behavior is very human-like to an absurd degree that it's hilarious. Like, I love when people are like, war is a human concept. And yet ants literally go to war with each other all the time. And I mean that dead ass. Like, I mean that like there's literal like classes of like ant soldiers. Like you're bred to be part of a specific class. And there's ant slavery. No, I'm being serious, guys. There's literally ant slavery. There's ant slave revolts. Like, ants from other colonies get kidnapped and are forced to basically to like take care of the larvae. It's common for ant colonies to steal the larvae from other colonies and raise them basically as slaves. They're like they're revolts within the ant colonies, because like, yes, ants typically follow the queen 90% of the time, but the few times the ants don't like the queen, I mean, they kill her. And that does happen. I don't know. I love that idea. I love the idea of like a humanoid creature being so animal-like, but I also love the idea of animals just being so human-like. It's just really fun. Especially since it's like, you know, we're not far off from that in real life, you know? You know, animals are way smarter than people think. And people are way more, what is it? Primal than we like to think. Cora says, I think bees also do that. I think they do too, yeah. That, like, if you just don't like their queen, they can just die. Alright, and then here I think we can have the arm going like that. This would definitely be like a smear frame. Or it would be like recovering from a smear frame. Okay. One more frame. One more frame working the stream. This one. This is the last frame. Vinny Joyce says, hey, Peppermint Life. Hey, welcome to the stream. Unfortunately, I am drawing my last frame. Um, but, better late than never. Vinny Joyce says, can you draw the 20th Century Fox logo and hide and seek it, please? I mean, I could draw it. Maybe not today, though. Okay. And this head is too small. Gonna make it bigger. That's where. Alright! Okay. Yeah, and this one, as I said, I'm not doing this on stream. Okay, I think I have a pretty good amount here. And then Guy goes like, oh, what did you do in the Trojan War, even though this is not ancient Greece. And, oh, actually, I think this can be, okay, actually, no, I lied. This will be the last frame, because it's easy. It's literally just a reaction shot, and that's it. Because I'm not doing any of the keyframes in this one. I'm literally just drawing out the thumbnails right now. I'm doing the keyframes later. Unlike everything else with Robin. But this is easy enough for... This is fine. And that's when he's shooting the people, and yeah, no, okay, yeah. I need to end the stream, guys. As much as I would love to, like, continue working on this forever, I don't want to stream forever, and I don't think you guys want to watch a forever stream. I know you'll deny it. I know you'll be like, oh, I would love to watch an eternal Peppermint stream. No, you don't. Okay. Alright, just like, yeah, we're just gonna look over my work. And, yeah, I guess I didn't need this one after all, this layer. Oh, yeah, that's right, you're still there. Get out of here. And you, good, okay. Alright. Just save it a million times to make sure I don't lose it. Animation, digital especially. Digital animation tip 101, save all the time. Every minute, every single second you have, save. Like, I'm sure some of your, like, if you take an animation class, I'm sure a professor or a teacher of yours will tell you this. But, like, no, seriously, save as much as you possibly can, because, animation programs are very, it doesn't matter if you have the beefiest computer known to man, animation programs are prone to breaking down. When I was a lot younger, I would think it was a problem with the program or with my computer. And it wasn't until I realized that, like, no, industry professionals who work in studios, sometimes their programs just don't work that day. Or it takes forever for it to work. It's which is why like with like every minute, not even minute, like every 30 seconds, save. Promise you, it saves you a mountain of work. All right. Oh, did the Sumeru track end? Oh, perfect! What perfect timing! All right, let's watch over this thing. We just isolate the thing. Let's watch over this and see what we did so far.
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different. We're one and the same. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame. You're not saving any lives by killing an innocent boy. Then what in Olympus's name did you do in Troy? We're one and the same.
All right. Let's look at it one more time.
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different. We're one and the same. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame. You're not saving any lives by killing an innocent boy. Then what in Olympus's name did you do in Troy? We're one and the same.
All right. Personally, I say this as the creator of this animation. Personally, let me just get to the
Power and none of the
Let me just get to
blame. You're not saving any lives by killing an innocent boy.
Okay, this is fine.
Then what?
Yeah, no. I am seriously debating whether or not I should cut the creepy smile. Part of me wants to keep it in there because like, look at the little details I already put. Part of me wants to keep it in there, but another part of me is also like, I feel like it just makes the scene go way too fast. And yeah, this is like a confrontation between the two, but I also like don't want to. This is still a conversation, you know. I don't know. I'm not saying that I'm gonna change it right now or anything. I'm just saying that it is a thing that is on my mind. I don't know if I want to cut it. Part of me wants to, but another part of me, it's the problem that I like because it has a lot of detail already. It kind of hurts me to cut it, which is why you don't do that, kids. Which is why you don't do that, because then you get too attached and you. But I think I'm gonna keep it for now, though. But yeah, okay. Just gonna see it one more time, and then yeah.
Oh, come now, you don't really think we're different. We're one and the same. We're not the same. You don't get to have all the power and none of the blame. You're not saving any lives by killing an innocent boy. Then what in Olympus's name did you do in Troy? We're one and the same.
All right. I need to fix this moment. I'm just gonna shut it off. So like, this moment, it looks good in isolation, but there's something about like the overall, video that's, I don't know, the timing's a little off. I don't think there's anything wrong with the frames, not yet anyway. I think it's mostly the timing. I think the timing's just weird. But that's for another time, guys. That's for another time. Like, it's as I mentioned, I sound like a broken record, but like when you're at this stage in animation, when you're at the puppet stage, as I like to call it, it really is just fiddling around with timing. Like, you're never gonna get the timing right. Like, even professional animators are like, yeah, no, timing is just one of those things that you just kind of have to feel and fiddle until you eventually get it right. So, yeah, but I'm fiddling with that right now. We're done. We finished. Let's get to the infinite void for a hot second. Let's get back to my little me. Sure, let's put Lewa music. Is there an ad? Please don't let there be an ad, I promise you. Okay, good. Alright, yeah, I don't know if I have much else to say. It's a chill stream, we just animated. Like, what more is there to say? I just animated, I don't know, I ranted about, like, the fantasy genre, and how, as much as I love medieval Europe, we need more fantasy stories, that takes place either outside of Europe, or in another time period in Europe. And even if it is in medieval Europe, make it medieval Europe. My god. Like, make it medieval Europe, okay? Like, when it comes to fantasy, I'm not a big stickler for historical accuracy. I'm not, because it's fantasy, right? Who cares? But at the same time, it's also like, you have an aesthetic. I would like for you to at least stick with it to some level of degree. You know what I mean? Like, to some degree, at the very least, alright? Like, Fontaine isn't actually industrial France, but it has the Industrial Revolution all over it. Like that. Okay, we talked about that. Hey, look, I didn't talk too much about my Robin Hood story. That's a win for me. That's a win for me, because these streams become dangerous when I start putting in like my legend characters. They become dangerous, and they could easily veer off to me like talking endlessly for hours about these characters. Which I know you guys are here to listen for that, but I mentioned this in the last stream. It's like I really, really want to, but at the same time, I don't want to like A, spoil guys, B, hype it up too much, because yeah. I want to talk endlessly about it because I love it, but I also want to reel back because I love it. Chorus says, it was pretty neat. Consistency with it would be nice. Yeah, I guess that's what I'm looking for with, like, even if it does take place in medieval Europe, like some consistency. Make it medieval Europe, even if it's not accurate, because again, it's fantasy. Make it medieval Europe. Tunics, robes, monks, you know, like houses made of mud and wood, you know. Timber wasn't really accessible back in the medieval times, which is why timber houses were very, very rare. It's the reason why it was really popular to have a timber frame, but with white plaster. Put some plaster. I need more plaster in my fantasy. Like, I don't think people realize just how old plaster actually is. Even I was shocked. Like, I was under the impression that back in the old times, people just built their houses out of wood and mud, and they did. But people also built their houses out of plaster because it was cheap and it was accessible, and we still use plaster today. Give me more plaster houses in medieval fantasies. Because plaster is actually way older than people think it is. Okay. That's we're getting to another topic. This was a really fun stream, honestly. I don't think I've had this much fun animating on stream in a while. It's like, this is pretty fun. For Thursday, yeah, no, I think we're just gonna keep animating, guys. I think we're just keep animating on Thursday. I had this idea. Okay, so for the Genshin thing, I really want to play all of the new Genshin content because it's some big stuff going on, especially lore-wise. The one thing that I am hoping gets resolved, and if it doesn't, then that's an oh well, then I'll play it then. But because the next update is going to be focusing a lot on Mondstadt, and especially characters like Albedo and Venti, but more specifically Venti because Venti is my favorite character, Erica Harlacher, which is Venti's voice actor, has confirmed that Venti will not be voiced in the next patch, because of all the stuff that's going on with the strike that I don't want to get into it. All y'all need to know is that it is a massive mess. But she does say that at least her hope is that she can voice all of Venti's lines for the next patch. And so what I'm thinking instead is, because there's also going to be a Fontaine Natlan event, which I think is so cool. I'm also super excited about that. I'm thinking that when I eventually play that patch, I instead play the Natlan Fontaine event and wait until the next patch to play the Mondstadt stuff, is what I'm thinking. Mostly because I want to hear if all of the Mondstadt characters are going to be voiced, I at least want to hear Venti. And if he's not voiced by the next patch, if Erica can't do it, that's oh well, that kind of sucks. Like, I'll still play it. But I'm just kind of like holding out hope that he can be voiced. But, you know, if he's not, that's no hard feelings, that's fine. 'Cause the strike's been just like the biggest mess on planet Earth. Like I think everybody can agree with that. But voice actors should still get paid. As horrible as the strike is, well, not the strike, but as horrible as the situation with the strike is, voice actors should still get paid, right? Alright. I know I said I think that's it like a million times, but I think like it's actually it. Yeah, pretty fun. Till Thursday, guys. I guess we're just continue on animating, and yeah, and then when the patch drops or I choose to play the next patch, we're going to Fontaine. And we're talking with our favorite Fontanians, along with some fun little Natlin characters. But, yeah, that's it. Bye!